Good afternoon, deep evil novel, climate change novel, author and solo acting Ahmed Gaber abdelhamid, episode number 58. Before he left his home, Gary switched on a lecture for Dan. Ireland, Dublin. Good evening, I'm Dan from USA. I'm researcher from Harvard. Today I will talk about the agricultural technology. In the past, the agricultural lands produced maybe one or maximum two times crops per year. But sometimes the pests hit the crops or the soil, which may destroy all of the or all or part from the crops. But lately, the agricultural technology developed has increased the agricultural production per year to become more than two periods. Also, the new technologies can explore and treat the crops and soil pests. But the problem is all of these technologies are chemical additives. So they add chemical fertilizers to upgrade the soil quality, and they treat the pests by chemical additives. So they treat the quantity of the crops but affect negatively on the quality of the crops. So in the past, the crops was without any chemicals additives, but less quantity. But now the crops is more quantity, but less quality. Now in the advanced countries, they announcing to return to our organic crops as no chemical additives on any of the agricultural stages. This will put two additional costs on the crops. The first cost that without the chemical treatment, the quantity of crops will decrease. The crops quantity which will increase the price of the unit of the crops. The second cost is the cost of monitoring organization which charge on the organic farms to assure there is no chemical additives. So the conventional crops have a healthy treat but more cheap than have a health threat but more cheap than the organic crops. So the question is, did there anyone think how we can produce organic crops for poor people? Thank you. See you next lecture. In the big meeting hall in Harvard, Professor Jack had gathered with the candidate researchers. He sat on the head of the table and he said, I think the full presentation in the theater last week gave all of you good idea about the projects. Also, I believe on the youth, so I will leave my chair after I will present Mr. George, the manager of this committee. Please, Peter, please, George, come. The Professor Jack stood up and gave the head of the table to George, without any pre-cooperate with George. Thank you. See you next episode.